So I'm going to try and explain how to put a beta window in a Pelican case. The beta window is a thin mylar membrane that seals out water and dust, but lets in beta particles so that the sensor can detect beta. So this is one that's already done. It's been in use for a number of months. It's got the window already in, it's already sealed. Okay, this is the box that we're hoping to use for the SolarCast Nano size. And if you notice, it's the same lid as the previous box we used for the larger Big Ugly Mini. So I'm going to demonstrate on one of those already. Okay, so the first part is to make a hole in the case. I recommend one of these cutters, a hole cutter. They're somewhat expensive, but they do a much better job at making a hole. So you're going to remove the liner, find out, based on the design of where the pancake tube is going to be, we need to locate the hole, make a pilot hole, and then use this to, hopefully in a drill press, to cut through the plastic. Okay. After the hole is cut, like this, it's very important for the lifetime of the membrane that there be no sharp edges. So what I use for that is a sanding wheel, which is a bunch of little flaps of sandpaper to deburr the hole, like this, and at different angles, so that until the entire lip is smooth, there's no sharp edges inside or out, and there's nothing sticking up. There's nothing to catch on the membrane or on the outside. Okay, this is the sanding wheel. These are at a hardware store. This one's, I think, 80 grit, that's about right. 120 will work, but I would recommend, it'll take a little longer, so 80 or 100. Okay. Okay, so the material that we cover the use for the beta window is actually sold as cover material for model airplanes. This is polyethylene terephthalate, or mylar film, with a thin layer of aluminum between, and then an adhesive layer of polyethylene. Most of the coating, these cover materials, are not metallized. They actually have a pigment mixed in with the adhesive. For the beta window, we have to use the one they call chrome color, which has the evaporated aluminum layer in the middle. Okay, I cut it into pieces that are about the size of the lid. This one's probably a little larger than necessary. We wanted to, in the older ones, to cover all of the inside, but I think this size, so about 2.5 to 2 3/4 inches square should be just perfect. Okay. So this film, let me cut this one down a little bit. This film is easily trimmed with scissors. I like to take the corners off so that they don't have a place to stick up. You want to make it small enough that it doesn't kind of roll up the edges inside the box. So this one's a little bit big. Okay. So this paper backing covers the adhesive layer. Now the adhesive is not sticky when it's cool. It's a heat set adhesive. So with the adhesive side toward the plastic, just position it over the hole. Something simple like that. And then we need a sealing iron. This is made for putting this material on wood and plastic airplanes. Here's the box. Okay, and normally you would set this for an appropriate temperature. I have this one set for maximum because I'm in Japan. The voltage is 100 volts here. In order to get to the right temperature, I have to turn it all the way up. If you're in the US, you'll probably want to put it at about 2/3 or temperature. Okay, so the idea is that the Teflon shoe on this will heat the mylar, melting the adhesive on the back and gluing it to the box. So I just start in one corner and tack it down like that. So now it's tacked. Pull it across kind of tight and kind of go across to one edge, holding it so it doesn't wrinkle. And then along another side. And then down. Let's go out this way, along this side, and then over there. And then once I've got it kind of tacked in good like that, then I actually work it down everywhere that it's touching the plastic. I want to push it from the center to outside to remove the bubbles, or from the plastic toward the hole, because the hole is also an edge where the bubbles can be worked out. You just go all the way around it, just like that. Okay. Now, when the mylar is overstretched, so when you heat it with the iron, it shrinks. So if you get a place where there's a little bit of a wrinkle, like here in this corner, you can just hold the iron over it, wait till it shrinks, and the wrinkles will become small enough that they no longer has a wrinkle. A few air bubbles is not a problem. It's not going to cause any difficulty. And that's it. This is attached to the box and sealed. Okay, as an extra step to ensure a watertight seal, because sometimes the film will get loose or develop a wrinkle, we've started putting silicone caulking around it. And this one's in Japanese, you can't read it, but it's waterproof. It's very common clear silicone adhesive. So I'm just going to put a thin bead all around, just to make a little radius, meniscus at the intersection of the film and this one's a little bit gummy. And then I use my finger, and it's usually better if it's wet, to just scrape off any extra and leave a little radius. Okay.
What do you do with the extra goop?
Okay, there's one last step, which is might be sort of optional, but it actually makes it a little bit more cosmetic, and that is that the mylar film is actually heat shrink. So if you use a cover film heat gun, which this is actually got at the same hobby store that I got the cover film at, or you can buy online, and just heat it, then it'll shrink, and that'll pull out all of the wrinkles and make a very beautiful finish to the membrane.
Wow.
Okay, so this is a final synopsis video of putting a beta window in a Pelican case. The first step is to use a cutter to bore the hole, a sanding wheel of some medium to grit to deburr it and leave no sharp edges to protect the film so it doesn't get cut at the edges. Then the ultra coat or ultra trim seal-on material. Finally, the heating iron to melt the adhesive layer and bond it to the inside of the box. Okay. Then finally, some kind of silicone adhesive that'll make a waterproof seal meniscus around the edges. And lastly, when you heat it to remove the wrinkles, which can be done again, if there's some pressure gets on the membrane and you wind up getting a dent in it or some kind of scratches, it usually is not actually pierced, and just reheating it will take those right out. Okay, so this should be a watertight, dust-proof, rain-proof, weather-proof, but not beta particle-proof seal for a Geiger counter.